the Democratic Party's best communicator in tonality and substance is likely Pete Buttigieg. You know that your campaign is frailing when the only thing you can come up with is to attack a beloved governor, the governor that Kamala Harris chose for her vice president, the beloved governor of Minnesota, the state that is the sixth happiest state in the world, and you try to disparage a guy that has served 24 years in the military compared to the guy who's attacking him, who's only served 4 to get the GI Bill to go to school. Of course, it is sad because, whenever we're talking, we say things that sometimes we slip and say it and it comes out differently. In this case, Walz said something to the effect of weapons that he used in war. I mean, that could easily mean weapons that is supposed to be used in war. But somehow now the Republicans are going to grab onto that and try to make it a problem of false valor. He tried to say that he was in a war when he wasn't in a war. And by the way, he retired when he realized he was going to likely go to Iraq. False again, when the reality is, hey, he served 24 years. He could have retired at 20 years to get his full pension, right? So they have to create these things. But then JD Vance on CNN wants them to believe that he is the virtue of truth. He wants to go out there and we only tell the truth. And how dare Tim Walz make a mistake and says in war, right? Well, Pete Buttigieg, who I think is likely the best speaker, the best supporter in the way he defends and the way he speaks about issues, the best communicator. I want you to listen to what he had to say.
If the only thing that they can find about Tim Walz to complain about is to disparage his military record that was clearly honorable. Remember, you can retire at 20 years. Tim Walz served for 24. And the fact that they have to go back to find a clip from 2018 to find the one time that he slipped up when he talks about the weapons of war that he carried and said something instead about carrying a weapon in war. It's kind of an exception that proves the rule in terms of how hard you have to look to find Tim Walz saying anything that isn't precise and accurate. But there's something, I think, much bigger at play here, which is I watched that interview and watched JD Vance present himself as suddenly very particular about precision in speech and very concerned about honesty. He's running with Donald Trump, somebody who has set records for lying in public life. He just gave a press conference where fact checkers estimate that he told 162 distortions or lies. That, frankly, is just impressive in terms of being able to physically do that. It's like the Olympics of lying. So maybe just because it's Sunday morning, I can't stop thinking about the scripture that says, how can you look at your brother and say, let me take the speck out of your eye when you have a plank in your own eye?
Jeff Buttigieg didn't mince his words. How can you talk about a splint in your eye when you got a plank in yours? How can you talk about the virtue of truth when the person that you are serving under is the Olympics of liars, right? He lies better than, if we had the Olympics for lies, he would not only get a gold medal, he would win running away. Pete Buttigieg, excellent job in describing one, who JD Vance is, and likewise who the former president of the United States, Donald Trump, is. The Olympics of lies.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel. And number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.